Hello everyone, my name is Heather Abbas. I welcome you all again to one of the amazing series which is on Ansible, a configuration management tool. We are going to start from absolute scratch. Before we get into the Ansible playbooks and do something practical with Ansible, first we need to understand what is configuration management, why we may have to go with a tool such as Ansible, what exactly is Ansible, what problem it is trying to solve. Fine. So let's get started directly here. To start with, right, suppose we have certain machines here, machines, or you can say web servers, which is the EC2 machines. Let me just write the pictorial representation here. As you can see on your screen, we have certain servers, or you can say it is the EC2 machines or instances, fine. And we have one admin here who have to take care of these machines. Anything we have to do onto this machine. For example, I want to deploy one application. If you want to deploy one application, whatever softwares which are required in order to support that particular application has to also be installed in this particular machine. Example, I want to deploy a Java application, then Java must also be there into that machine, or it should be present inside that machine, right? So basically, if you want some softwares to be installed into this EC2 instances, or you can say on into the servers, then we may have to do it manually. Example, we have an admin, we have hired an admin to manage all these machines, and the requirement is, a basic requirement is, I want to install maybe for an instance Java 17 into these machines. Then what to do? You can ask this admin, then admin will go to this machine and use all the required commands and install Java 17. Again, maybe it has to be installed in all the machines. Then Java 17, admin will try to connect to this machine and install Java 17. And here also admin will connect and install the Java 17. And here also will connect and install. Here also will connect and install. Then this particular admin who is responsible for these machines would try to connect to all these machines and install the required software. What if we have 100 machines? What if we have 200 servers? Then do we have to install this software in all 200 servers? Yes. And imagine this task is getting done manually. Don't you think it is a repeated task? Same task which we have to repeat for n number of times, and maybe right now have installed Java 17 and the requirement is I have to install now Java 21 or maybe Java 23. Then again we have to update that software, or we may have to reinstall. Again the same task has to be repeated into the all machines, and also it is a time consuming process. If it is taking some time to install a required software into a machine, then same task if you're doing manually, doing that into 25 machines, doing that into 50 machines, it's going to be a time consuming process. It is a repeated task. If you're not trying to manage these configurations manually, it is a time consuming process. And also if a human being is doing this manually into all the machines, there is a high possibility that the mistakes might happen and the errors might occur, right? There are many disadvantages, limitations associated with one, configuring all the required things for our application manually. We may have to automate the process. So whenever you want to copy certain files from one machine to another machine, you want to do the OS patching, or you want to update certain softwares, you want to install new softwares into our machines, that can be done manually, but it is a time consuming process and might be a human error, and also it is a repeated task. We have an option to automate this entire process. And whenever you want to automate the process of configuration, the configuration tool comes into picture, which is Ansible. Ansible basically is a automation configuration tool which is used for the configuration management. Example, I want to install Git into all my machines. I want to install Maven into all the machines which are there in my infrastructure setup for my application. Then you have to automate the process of configuring the required setup using the tools such as Ansible. So basically, Ansible is an open source IT configuration management, orchestration, or deployment tool which is used to automate the process of configuration management, right? So Ansible is an automation tool which is used to define the configuration as a code. You can automate the entire configuration as a code with the help of Ansible Playbook. What exactly it is, we shall understand. Currently, Ansible is owned under the ownership of Red Hat. It is an open source tool, and there is a process which we may have to follow in order to install this. I'll be guiding you on to everything, how to install, what is the architect we may have to follow, what is Ansible Playbook, how can we automate the entire configuration management as a code. Everything from the scratch we shall explore, right? So I hope you got to know the purpose of why we may have to go with Ansible and what problem Ansible is trying to solve at the fundamental level. Let's understand more on to Ansible in the upcoming videos. Hello and welcome back. So far, we came to one conclusion that Ansible is an automation tool that provides a way to define the configuration as a code, right? So whatever we were doing, if you have an admin here, which is supposed to install all the softwares, maybe copy files from one machine to another machine, or all the configurations which are required is to be done by one admin. Now, in place of that, we are just going to automate that. And to automate this configuration process, we have Ansible. So I'm going to use here Ansible. So wherever we had an admin, that admin is now replaced by Ansible, right? And now in this case, we will have something called as a playbook because it defines the configuration as a code. To write the code, whichever file is used in order to write the code to define the configurations required, that file, technically we call it as playbook. Playbook means it is a file where the configurations which are required is defined in the form of YAML. It is a YAML file, yet another markup language, YML file, or you can say YAML file. So Ansible, we use YAML file, and inside this file, in the YAML syntax, we define the configuration, what is required. And we will have one more component here. Name of the component is inventory file. Fine, a host inventory file which Ansible uses to know on which machine it has to automate the configuration, in which machine it has to do the configuration. Example, we have here 5 machines, and inside these 3 or 2 machines, maybe they have to install Java, and the remaining machines, maybe they have to install the databases. So we will create the group here. This group is the web server group. I'll say here web server group, and this group is the DB server group. We will create the groups. Inside this group, there will be certain machines on which you want to automate the configuration. Example here, onto these 2 machines, I want to install Java. Onto these machines, I want to install our database. So what I'll be doing is, I'll create 2 groups. Inside this group, I'll keep our machines on which I want to install Java. I'll create one more group on which I'll create machines wherein I want to install maybe any database here. Now, host inventory file will have the information that Ansible has to perform operation on which machine. On which machine the operations or the configuration has to be performed, that information will be available here. And Ansible uses the playbook. Inside the playbook, a YAML syntax, a code will be present. Which code? A code in the YAML syntax which defines all the configuration. Maybe I want to copy files from this machine to this machine, for which we are going to automate the process, right? We will be writing a code. That code will be present here. Maybe into this machine, I want to install Python. So whatever is required to install the Python, the code we will be writing. In which style we will write the code? Into the YAML syntax style. So Ansible Playbook is used where we define the code. We write the code which is required for the configuration management. Whatever we want to do onto the machine, that code will be present here. And that code, whatever we are going to perform, onto which machine we have to perform, the information will be available into the host inventory file. So this is the basic general structure of the Ansible. So let me just define few key points here. So far, whatever we have understood, you can say this is acting like a summary of our understanding so far. So as a summary, we have understood that Ansible is an open source tool or a software which is currently under the ownership of Red Hat, and this entire Ansible tool is written in Python language. Doesn't mean that you may have to learn Python, it is not required. This tool, this software is developed using the Python language. Fine. So Ansible is an open source IT configuration management, deployment, or you can say orchestration tool. It is an automation tool that provides a way to define the configuration as a code. And where are we writing that code? We are going to write that code into the playbooks. So Ansible uses the playbook in order to automate the deploy, manage, build, or test or configure anything. Playbook is used. Inside the playbook only, we are going to write the code which is responsible to automate the configuration management. So basically, this is the fundamentals of Ansible. What exactly Ansible, why we may have to go with this, the basic architecture of Ansible, and the fundamental, what exactly is playbook. We may have to understand more on Ansible in the upcoming video. Now, just to add a few points onto the existing discussion we had as a conclusion, that Ansible is used to automate the configuration process, and for that we use playbook. Playbook means where we actually write our script, write our code, what we want to do, what task we want to carry out, right? Whether it is deployment or delivery or installation of some software, what configuration management you want to do, we define in the playbook. And we have some terms here called as control node and managed node. Managed node means such machines which is managed by Ansible. Example, I'm going to install the Java or any other software or maybe any configuration management into these two machines using the automation tool such as Ansible. Since I'm managing these machines using the Ansible, then this can be called as managed nodes. Example, these all machines I'm going to manage using the Ansible for the any of the configuration management. In that case, we can call this as the managed nodes. Now the machines which are going to manage, right, these machines, we call it as control nodes on which the actual Ansible tool will be installed. We will have one machine on which we are going to install the Ansible tool so that we can manage the other machines. A machine where we have installed Ansible to manage other machines for the configuration, such machine we call it as control node. And how this machine will know onto which machine we have to install the software or which machine we have to do the configuration, that information will be available in the host inventory file. So using the host inventory file, we will get to know which machines we have to manage. The machines which are getting managed by Ansible, managed nodes. A machine which is managing the other machines called as control nodes, where the actual Ansible will be installed. Now which machines to be managed by the Ansible, that information will be available in host inventory file, and Ansible uses playbook in order to carry out the task which we want to perform. Whatever task it want to carry out, that task as a code will be available in the playbook. I hope now all the terms control node, manage node, host inventory file, playbook, these terms you have got the clarity. We have to move ahead in this series. Hello and welcome back. Now we have seen the important components and the architect of the Ansible. Fine, it's time to implement this. First step is to install the required softwares, or to make an arrangement so that we can practically see this concept of Ansible, for which I'll be creating 3 EC2 virtual machines on our AWS cloud. Basically, I'm trying to buy or trying to create 3 servers, 3 machines, wherein one machine I will consider as my Ansible, the control node. The other 2 machines I'll consider as the managed nodes. Using the Ansible, how are we going to manage those computers or those servers, or you can say those machines? So 3 machines we may have to create. One where we have to install the Ansible, that will act like a control node, right? The other machines, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, depends at the time of you practicing. You can go ahead more than 2 also. That should not create a problem. That will be called as the managed nodes. Fine. So let me open the browser here. I would like to open the browser. I have logged into my AWS account. You might have the AWS account. Please do log into that. If not, you can just create the Linux machines, virtual machines, right? So I hope if you are learning Ansible or Terraform or any of the DevOps tool, it is basic that you must be knowing the fundamentals of any cloud providers. You must be knowing about the Linux. That is what I have kept in my mind as well. Now you just have to go to the EC2. I have already bookmarked. If not, you just have to search there, and then you'll have an option to launch a new machine. Okay, 3 machines is what we have to create, right? Now I would like to launch it. I would like to give it as maybe nodes. Okay, that's the name initially. Later we can change the name, so that should not create any problem. Okay, or server, you can say anything. That should not be a matter of concern. Now I would like to go with the Amazon Linux. You can go with the Ubuntu or Amazon. That is also not a matter of concern. I would like to again go ahead with the instance type, which is the free tier. Now key pair is required. So because using the key pair, you have to get connected to those Linux virtual machines which you are creating on the AWS, right? So this is the important step. You can use the existing keys. We have so many keys which I have created. I do also take this live classes at Telusko. So multiple times we have done that. Now create a new. I would like to just go here, key pair name, and I would like to specify maybe the name as Ansible key pair. Whatever name you want, you can give. Okay, and I would like to create. It will be downloaded and available in the download section. Fine. Now after which, either you can go and create a new security group or select one existing security group. So that should not again create any problem. I want to go ahead with the default security group which is already there. Okay, and now number of instances, you can create this separately one by one. I want to create all 3 at a time. 3 machines we need, right? One will act like a control node from where we are going to manage other computers. The 2 other will act like a manage. The one which is getting managed by the Ansible, the one which is getting managed by the control node. I would like to go here and click on launch instances. Now 3 instances will be created. If I have to go to my instances, you'll be able to see here. Other instances you ignore. We have 3 instances. Server is the name I had given. So what I'm going to do here is I would like to change the name here. Number 1, I would like to give the name as the control server is what I have given. I'm just trying to rename it. Okay. And the other, the manage one. Okay. I'll say here managed server. Any other name also you can give. So I'm trying to replicate that. This is getting managed by Ansible. So only I have given the name manage. You can give web server, database server, whatever machines you want. Okay. And one more also would like to just make the changes, and it is server number 2, which is the managed server. Okay. Managed node you can give. Okay. That is getting managed by the Ansible. Done. I have made the changes. Okay, 3 machines we have created here, and now one by one I would like to get connected to these machines and do some configurations. These configurations step by step, please follow. You'll not face any issue to practically apply Ansible or to practically play around with the Ansibles. Okay, follow these steps very carefully. Now control server, control node, I would like to click on this and I want to get connected to it. To get connected to it, if you are using a MacBook, you can use the terminal or a git bash. If you're going with the Windows, you can use the git bash. Also, you can use the MOBA XTERM software. That is also one of the client software which will give you a terminal to get connected to the virtual machines. Either of that you can follow, up to you. Git bash is what I would like to use from the Windows machine. Right now, I would like to open where my key value pair is there, Ansible key value pair, that folder downloads. I'll say right click and show more options. Git bash is there. If not, you can use mob xterm or any which can give you terminal to get connected to this machine. Wherever the key value pair is right there, right from there is where you have to get connected to the machines which you are creating. Now I have to get connected to these machines, the 3 machines, and I have to do some basic configurations. You also please follow as it is. I'll right click here and I would like to go with the show more option, and I would like to open git bash here. Okay, the terminal is open, and I would like to keep it blue only, which will act like a control node. The first thing which you have to do is to go here and add the permission. Let me go here and give this permission. It's a way to get connected. That's all. Also right click and paste it. Done. And after which I may have to just establish the connection. Let me open this, copy this SSH. You should be knowing it if you know the Linux, if you know the fundamentals of AWS. If not, you can just follow as it is. But at least I'll keep in mind that you know the basics of Linux commands and how to create an account in AWS and how to play with any of the cloud providers. So that should not be a matter of concern at least. Now I would like to say yes, I could able to establish the connection. Okay, this will act like my control node. Now 2 more machines I have to get connected, but before I get connected to that, I want to install certain things. I have to make few changes here in my control. I have to make changes in all the machines, but first let me make the changes inside this machine. Right now I have got connected to an instance which I have named as control node, where I have to install the Ansible, from where I'm going to manage the other servers, from where I'm going to manage the other machines. Fine. So 3 machines basically we have. In all 3 machines we have to do this. I'm first getting connected to the control server where I have to do these changes. So let me just do this here. Now the first thing which we may have to do is to add the user and password, for which I'll say here sudo. This is the Linux command. In order to add this, I'll say here user add. Maybe the name I'll give it as Ansible. Okay, that's the name I have given here. And after which I would like to say here sudo, and password for the Ansible I would like to add here Ansible. Okay, sudo password Ansible. Let me hit the enter key here, and it is asking me to give the password. Make sure you give a password which you can recall. Other ways also there. Going forward in the configuration, I will guide you. By chance, if you forget this password, what is that you may have to do? But however, recall. I would like to give a password which I can recall. I'll say anything which I can recall. Okay, retype the password and it is created. All the authentication tokens are created. After which I may have to configure the sudo's file, for which I would like to write one command here called as sudo vi sudo. Okay, I'm just trying to configure the sudo's file, and here I have to just scroll down, and I may have to make sure that I'm enabling this. Let me just scroll down, and you can see guys, allow root to run any commands from anywhere. We have this right. At the same point, we may also have to add this. So let me just add here one command for the Ansible also. I have copied this, and you can also follow the same. You'll be getting this from the screen and you can just type it, no issues. Okay, I would like to just right click and add this. I have added. This is what you may have to add. After which Control plus XY, you will be out of this, and you are out. Now again, if I just cross check whether that has been added or not, you can just check once again. And if you have to just scroll down, you will be in a position to see what changes we have already done it. Okay, we can see here we had done some changes with respect to Ansible. Root user, it is already there. For the Ansible, you may have to just allow. That's all. This configuration, okay, I have done here. Then Control plus XY, I have done it. All right. Now we had already made the changes. I was just cross-checking if the changes have been made. This is the step number 2. And the next part is to update, or you can say configure the SSHD file. That is what we may have to do, where we may have to play around or configure or do some updation with respect to the password authentication, for which I may have to open this file. I'll say here sudo. By default, this file will be there. Open this in the visual editor. What to open? Inside this directory, there is one file called as SSHD config file. That is what I may have to do it. Config file. My bad, I was making one mistake. We should have not told here SSHD. We have to say SSH. Okay, this is the configuration file we may have to open. Now I would like to just hit the enter key. You'll be able to open this. You have to go to the insert mode. I would like to press I here to get into the insert mode. And if you just scroll down here, you will have something called as password authentication. No, and permit empty password. No. Please make it yes. Both of that you have to make it yes. Option number 1. If not, if you are thinking that you might have forgotten the password which you have used, you can just comment this out. Either you have to comment this first line. Option number 1. If you don't want to comment this, if you could able to recall the password, then you may have to go here and just to say yes. Okay, these changes you may have to make. If not, the second part anyway you have to say yes, and you can just comment this first line, password authentication. That way also you can go. If not, you can just change it to yes. I would like to just save this file. Okay, escape wkeep in order to save this. It is saved now. The changes have been made. After which you may have to restart this server, for which I would like to say here sudo and service sshd restart. I'll say here restart. Sudo service sshd restart. Here is where I would like to click and it will be restarted. Now, whatever steps we have done in this control node, same we may have to do in the other two machines, which will act like a manage nodes here. That is the next step which we may have to follow. Now, I would like to just go back to these machines. Let me go to the instances. We have done these changes here in the control node. I may have to repeat the same for the manage node number 1 and manage node number 2 also, okay, which is going to get managed by the Ansible. Okay, I would like to copy this and let me open one more terminal here on the same where I have this pem file, and the git bash I would like to open just to make the changes, or just to convey that this is a different. You can just give a different colors or whatever. Okay, so again I would like to just add this here. I'm giving the permissions. Okay, and now I may have to get connected. This time we are getting connected to the other machine, a normal server, okay, which will act like the manage node. Okay, I have got connected. The same steps what we have done there, we may have to do here as well. First we may have to add the user. I will say sudo, okay, user add. I'll say user add Ansible user add. Okay, I'll say here user add Ansible, right? And after which I'll say sudo. I would like to say password. I'll say Ansible. We have added that, and I would like to give the same password so that I should not be forgetting. I'll say here okay, one more time, whatever password you could able to recall. Okay, I have given. Tokens is successfully updated. Now the other two steps which we have done earlier in the control node, same we may have to do here. First we may have to configure the sudo's file. Okay, so for which I'll say here sudo, we may have to open this particular file, and here we have to make the changes. What is the changes we have to make? The same which we have done earlier. Okay, so I would like to just scroll down, and where is that changes we may have to make? Let me just okay, here is where in place of this we may have to add for Ansible user to allow root to run any commands anywhere. I want the Ansible to run any commands anywhere. Right click, I would like to add this. All right, and now I'll say here control XY to come out of this. I have come out of this. Now I have to configure the sshd, same command which we have used earlier. I would like to say here sudo vietc. I would like to say ssh. I would like to say sshd and hd. I would like to say here config. This file will already be there in any machine. We just have to make some changes here. Okay, let me go to the insert mode again, and we have done this earlier. Same we may have to do for other two machines. I would like to just go here and say yes to both. If not, you can comment the first line. That also would work. Okay, now I would like to just go back and say yes. All right, let me press escape, come out of this file, w and q. wkeep to come out of this, and now we may have to just restart this. I'll say here sudo service sshd restart. Okay, and now it will be restarted. This step we have done for two machines, control node and manage node. You may have to do it for one more manage node. The same steps you may have to follow. I hope you will be able to do it by your own. Okay, I'll skip that part in this recording. If not, it will be a lengthy one. Please do that in one more manage node. After this, the remaining step we may have to do in our control node, a machine where we are going to actually install this Ansible software. This is one of the manage node that is going to get managed by the Ansible, right? So one more manage node, same steps I would like to add, and then we shall go to the second step of configuration where we have to install the Python, the Ansible, the required things in our control node. And then we will try to connect our control node to our manage node as we have discussed in this architecture. Architecture. Okay, so please do the same step in one more manage nodes, and then we shall continue with the second round of configuration and installation. Now the first step towards the Ansible configuration is done. We have created 3 nodes and we have done the basic required configuration. Now the next step is to get connected to this control server, the control node, and install the Ansible, right? So these two systems are the one which are going to get managed by Ansible. And this is the system from where we manage the other systems if in order to install anything, right? So this is our control node. I hope you have watched the architect of Ansible. Now I would like to get connected to this machine. Okay, and let me just copy this and open this terminal, and I would like to just get connected. Okay, and let me just go here and get connected to this particular machine. Okay, I have just hit the enter key. Let me clear this. Now inside this machine I want to install the Ansible. The first step would be to switch to the Ansible user, the user which we have already created. So let me write the command here. The command has been written. Now I would like to just say here cd get into this particular directory. Okay, now I have gone, right? Now at which I would like to say here sudo yum. First we may have to install and Python as well as the Python package manager, and using the Python package manager we may have to install the Ansible. That's the approach we may have to follow. I'll say here sudo yum install. I'll say here Python 3, and just in case if package manager has to update something, I would like to just add -y. Even if you don't add -y, it's fine, just to update the package manager yum which we are using here. Okay, we shall be installing the Python here. It will take a few seconds to a minute of time and the Python will be installed. As you can see, the Python is installed. Now I would like to just check the version. I'd say here Python 3 and -- version. And if we are able to get the version that says Python is successfully installed here. Now I may have to install the Python package manager which is pip. Okay, so now for which I would like to say here sudo yum -y, which is optional step. I'll say here install. What to install? I'll say here Python 3 and pip, a package manager which is required to install the Ansible. I would like to hit this and it will take some time, and the pip package manager is installed successfully. Now using this pip I may have to install the Ansible, for which I may have to write one command here which is pip3. I would like to say here install Ansible --user. Okay, I would like to hit this enter key, and it will take some time and the Ansible should be installed in my control node, a node from where we are going to manage the other machines, other servers, right? So it is taking some time and the Ansible will be installed. Now you can see the Ansible is successfully installed. We can just check it. I'll say here Ansible -- version is the command which I am executing here, and we could able to get that here. Okay, the moment I execute this command here after we install, you can see Ansible 2.1.5.13. That means the Ansible is successfully installed. After which I would like to create one folder here. First of all, let me just clear this screen. So much of content here. I would like to now create one folder here. I'll say here mkdir, and I want to create the folder. So let me just take the privileges first. Sudo create one directory. Where you want to create the directory? Inside this etc folder which is already there by default in any Linux machine. Inside this, please create one directory called as Ansible. Okay, and this is done. The next step is to generate the SSH key in my control node and copy that key into the manage nodes. That will be our last step. Once we are done this, the entire setup will be ready, and then we can demonstrate how we can manage all other servers from our control node. That is what we may have to see. The last step is pending, wherein we just have to generate one key here and copy that key into all the managed nodes. Let's do that. Now comes the last step. As we have discussed, we have to generate the SSH key in our control node and copy that into our managed node. First, I would like to make a switch to the Ansible user. I'll write one command here. I'll say sudo make a switch to Ansible user which we have created. It has switched here, and now I would like to say here SSH key generation, generate the SSH key. That's the meaning of it. I would like to hit this enter key. Now generating the key, it is asking me to enter the file name. I would like to keep it default. I'll not enter anything here. That will be default. Okay. The key has been generated now. Now this key I may have to copy into our manage nodes. Right now in our architect, the way for which we are configuration, we will have two manage nodes. Two machines will be managed by Ansible, right? It could be n number of machines also. Fine. So now I would like to just go back here to my AWS account. I'll go to my instances and I'll go to my first managed node and get the private IP of my first managed nodes, a machine which is going to get managed by AWS. And now here I would like to write a one command here. I will say here SSH copy. I'll say here ID space Ansible, and I may have to specify here the private IP which we have copied. Okay. And I would like to hit this enter key. Yes. And then it may ask us to enter the password also. Okay. The password which we had created at the time of, creation of these nodes. Okay. I would like to write this password here. I will say here, whatever password you had given, I have entered the password, and now it is telling that it could able to do that. Now again, the same thing I may have to do for my second managed node, SSH. I'll say here, copy ID, and I will say Ansible, and then I may have to enter the private IP of my second machine. Let me open this and go back to my instances here, and second IP which we have here, not the first. I would like to go here and take this, the second machine's IP, private IP I have copied, and I would like to just paste it here. And now again, I would like to just click on enter. It may ask you to enter the password once again. Whatever password you had given, I have entered the password. It is telling it is able to copy that. This step is over. Later, please look into the architect which we had discussed. We may have to also configure the host inventory file. Host inventory file will have the details of the managed nodes, is what I have told theoretically. That means it is a place which will have information of the machines which is going to get managed by Ansible, which is going to get managed by the control node. Which machines, which servers this particular Ansible will manage, that information will be available here. Right now I have two machines, right? Those two machines are going to get managed by Ansible. So in the host inventory file, I have to update about those two machines. Directly also you can update. What I'm going to do is I'll create two separate groups. Maybe manage node number one, I'll consider as the web server group, and manage node machine or number two, I will consider that as the DB server group. I'm just trying to say that machines will have information about the web server. Even if you don't specify into the groups, that will not create any problem. So now I will divide them into the groups, and I will update the information in the host inventory file of your Ansible, right? So in my Ansible control node, I'll open here, and let me just clear this. What I'm going to do is I'll open this particular folder. Which folder? Let me write one command here, which you can see on your screen, sudo vi visual editor, and this host is what I want to open in order to update my host inventory file. Let me hit the enter key here, and now you can see we have a web server, and here I have updated this, I have added this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just cross check that these IPs are valid IPs. Okay, let me go to the insert mode here, and this automatically will not be there. I had already updated before this recording. But web servers, one group is there, one IP, manage node number one. DB servers, manage node number two. I'll just cross check the IPs which we have, whether they are correct. If not, it may create the problem. So 172.3.1.1.2 and 18 for DB servers. So let me just go back. Yes, and for my 319 and 250 for my machine number one, manage node machine number one, I would like to open this, and I think it is correct. Okay, so this is fine. I have added that. That means this information, which machines is going to manage by Ansible, that's what it is. I would like to just save these files. I have saved it. Now finally, from my control node, I will try to ping and check if I am able to get connected to my managed nodes or not. Okay, I'll say here Ansible all -m I'll say ping. Okay, I would like to just hit this enter key and see if I am able to get connected. If not, we may have to check. You can see successfully I'm able to establish the connection. I'm getting the success. We have two machines, right? Both the machines we could able to establish connection, right? So from our control node, are we able to get connected to the manage nodes? Yes. If you are able to get connected, if you're able to ping, you will be in a position to able to do these configurations. Maybe you want to install Java, you want to install Maven, you want to install Python, you want to do something in your managed nodes. Then from this Ansible control node, you can do this. Now, if I'm able to ping those machines and if I'm getting this success, that means my control node is able to establish connection with the machines, with the servers which are going to get managed by Ansible. Now our configuration is successful. Now I know it is a lengthy for Ansible. The configuration is lengthy in order to practice, and this is what it is. Now we may have to go ahead and understand a little bit of ad hoc commands and then about the playbooks. As we have understood in the architecture, if you want to manage any machines using the Ansible, we write the playbooks. That is, if you want to install some softwares into these machines, if you want to update something, if you want to copy some files, whatever you want to do in these machines, usually we manage in the control node, a machine which has the Ansible. And how do we manage? For which we write the playbooks. That is what we have understood. Now there is something called as ad hoc commands. What do you mean by that ad hoc commands? The commands which we can run are basic commands from your control node without you writing the playbook. So usually if you want to manage any machines using the control node, using the Ansible, we write the playbook. There are some few basic commands which you can execute even without writing the playbooks. Those commands only we call it as ad hoc commands, which we executed just now, right? Now here Ansible all means all the machines which are getting managed by Ansible, managed by the control node. -m refers to the module. Which module? Ping module. Right now I'm trying to ping here. You can see it is not found because it is in the different user. Let me go to the sudo su Ansible user. I would like to switch it to the Ansible user, and then I would like to execute these commands. I'll say right click and execute this. See, it is able to ping all the machines which are getting connected. All means referring to all the machines. Okay. Now suppose you want to connect to a machine which belongs to the web servers group. In that case, you can just write here Ansible. I don't want to right now ping to every machine. I want to ping to the machine which is under web servers group. Okay, -m, and I would like to say here ping. Now it will ping to the machines which are there only in the web server. Making sense? Now, example, I want to know the maybe date of those machines. I will say here Ansible and all the machines -m shell. Shell means it will allow you to write the Linux commands. Okay, and the argument -a, and maybe I want to execute date. Date is a Linux command, and if you want to execute some Linux command into those machines, then it is shell. Shell is a package. Like the way we have ping. Ping is a module. Sorry, ping is a module. Shell is a module. -m. -a represent the argument what you are passing. The date is what you are passing. If I have to just hit this, and let's see here, you are getting the date of both the machines. Currently in my managed machine, this is the date, and the date in my another managed machine, this is the date at the time of me recording this. I'll say here Ansible, maybe I'll say here all -m, I'll say here shell, and -a, I want to know the uptime of those managed machines. Okay, so I have just hit this uptime, since when they are running, right? So it's been 1 hour, my both managed nodes are on. They are running from 1 hour continuously, right? So these are the basic commands which you can execute from your control node, from your Ansible, without having to write the playbook. Usually, if you want to do something into the managed nodes or managed machines using the Ansible, we write the playbook. And there are some basic commands which you can execute without writing the playbook. Those are the ad hoc commands. And these are these commands. Fine. If you want to know the uptime, if you want to know some information, a basic information, without you having to write the playbook also, you can execute. Now, we have to understand how do we write the playbooks and how do we execute, how do we do certain things using the Ansible into our managed nodes. Now let's start to write the playbooks. Playbook is a YAML file where we write what tasks need to be carried out using the Ansible into the managed nodes. Managed machines, managed nodes, or the machines which we are going to manage using the Ansible. These are the machines where we are going to do the configuration management. And whatever task you want to carry out, where you want to carry out, all of these things in the form of YAML file, we write a playbook. Playbook is a place where we write what we want to do and where we want to do. Example, in these two machines, I want to install Python, right? So this task in this particular group, I want to carry out. What to do, where to do, how do we specify, for which we write the playbook. And to write the playbook, we follow one syntax, which is the YAML syntax, yet another markup language, .yml extension file, where we write what we want to do it. Now, before we proceed or before we start to write the YAML files, or you can say playbook, let's first understand fundamentally about the YAML here. Fine. For which I would like to just open this IDE. Within the Ansible folder, I would like to create one file here just to give you the basic syntax idea about how YAML file looks like. Example, I'll give it as sample1.yml. Any YAML file, the extension is YML. Great. So we do have here, and it is highly recommended that YAML file always start with this 3 hyphen symbol, ends with 3 dot symbol. It is not compulsory. It is just the recommendation to have. It is indication that it is a YAML file. It is the start of YAML file. It is the end of YAML file. And we write here, for example, if I want to write some basic information about someone in the YAML format, it is ID and colon. Then I will write maybe ID as 1. Then comma. Second line, I'll say here name, colon, and maybe I would like to write some name. Example, Rohan. Maybe again I'll say city, and city could be Bengaluru. That's all. This is how we write. This is basic sample YAML file. Example, you want to write some more information. Okay, let me just reduce a bit. Maybe hobbies. Then I will write here hobbies, and hobbies will not be one. Hobbies will be multiple, right? For which the syntax, the better syntax would be second line 1, 2. 2 after the 2 spaces, I'll give it as hyphen, 1 hyphen symbol, and then you can write whatever habits you want. Maybe playing cricket is one habit. Let me write here. And similar to that, listening to music is one habit. Array of data. Example, some keys will have more than one value. Name will be only one. Directly with the colon you can write. City will be only one. Directly with the colon you can write. Suppose there is something for which more values are there. Cities also, maybe you are living in at a time in multiple cities. In sense, you have your hometown, you have the city which you are living in, and there is one more city which you are often traveling, and you want to mention about all 3 cities. In that case, directly you cannot write like this. You can write cities, and then with this hyphen symbol you can specify how much ever you want. Example, for the hobbies, how I'm writing it. Okay, it's like array of the data. Okay, so maybe playing chess could be one of the hobby. This is how we have to define the YAML file. This is the basic syntax. Let me take one more example here. I'll go back here and say sample2.yaml extension. Okay, and I would like to say this is the start of my YAML. This is the end of my YAML file. And here I'm going to specify maybe the employee data, right? Telusko employee data. Okay, so I'll say here Telusko, it's a parent. Okay, Telusko employee ID, Telusko employee name, Telusko employee city, Telusko employee address. So what I'm going to do, Telusko, I'll keep it, which is my parent. Then I'll come down 2 spaces. Indent spacing is very, very important in case of YAML. Number 1, number 2, 2 spaces, and here I will write employee. Okay, and then I'll go back. Hierarchical format we have to write. I'll say here 1, 2 space, and then I'll say ID space colon, maybe ID I will say it as 1. Now again I want to write Telusko employee name. Now Telusko employee you need not to write once again. That will act like a parent. What you have to do is you just have to align with this. Okay, the spaces are there, no? That will automatically be considered that the employee will be parent of whatever you're writing here, and for the employee the parent is Telusko, these spaces. You need not to again go from the scratch and write once again something like this Telusko. It's not needed. Then again come back, employee. Okay, again you come back and then write name. All of this is not required because Telusko and employee you have already specified. And now I want to write Telusko employee name. So what I'm going to do here is I'll come down to this ID only. I will align because for both name and ID the parent is employee and Telusko. Telusko employee ID, Telusko employee name. Okay, I would like to specify maybe some name. Let it be Harsh. I hope I'm making sense here. Okay, then again I would like to give maybe city. I would like to write here, and it's not required actually. This will be considered as one. It is not required. I would like to go back here, and maybe city is Udaipur for example. And Tesco employee maybe address instead of city. I would like to add it as address. Okay, address. And address could be state also, address could be city also, address could be country also. It has multiple values. If you have multiple values, again you can come to the child of this 1 2 spaces. I'll say city, and maybe the city is Udaipur, and again the state could be Rajasthan. Making sense? Hierarchical format, and this indent spacing is very, very important here. Okay, maybe I want the child of the address, then you have to give 2 spaces, 1 2. Again you can see city, and then we have state, right? So this is the basic syntax of YAML file, because we write playbook in Ansible to specify what task we are carrying out in the machines which we are going to manage. Configuration management, right? Ansible is going to manage the configuration in certain machines. What tasks to manage? What is that you want to do? For example, you want to install something, you want to copy some files. We have to write the playbook for that, right? And for the playbook, we follow the YAML syntax, and this is the basics of YAML syntax. Now, going forward, we will understand how do we write the playbooks, and we will carry out the real task in our manage nodes. Now, let's write our first playbook. Inside the playbook, using the YAML syntax, we specify what are the things we want to configure in the manage nodes, right? And we did understand about the basics of YAML syntax. Now coming to the Ansible playbooks, it is divided into 3 sections. Number 1 happens to be the host, where we specify the information about the manage nodes, or you can say the target machines on which we want to carry out the configuration management, right? Which are the machines on which you want to play around using the Ansible. Example, there are 10 web servers, there are 20 DB servers, there are totally 40 machines. Do you want to install Git in all the 40 machines? No, maybe I want to install Git in certain machines. So in the host section, we specify the target machines on which we want to, apply this Ansible playbook on. Number 2 happens to be the variable sections, using which we declare the variables in the playbook if in case it is required. It is an optional. Going forward, we will try to implement that. And number 3 happens to be the task section, where we specify what task we want to carry out. Whether you want to install something, you want to copy, all the tasks will be within the task section. So let me just open here. I would like to get connected to the control node. We had created 3 machines. One where we had installed the Ansible, the other 2 which we are going to manage using the Ansible. I would like to just establish connection to this control node where we have installed the Ansible. I would like to say right click and go here, click this. So I'm just trying to get connected, clear. And we had created one user called as Ansible user. I would like to make a switch to this. I'll say here sudo make a switch to Ansible user. Great. And we had done all the configurations in the configuration, or you can say installation section already. Right now I'm the Ansible user, but inside the EC2 user group, I want to come out of this. I would like to say cd --. It is the default group. And now if I have to check this, you can see we do have an Ansible folder also created. Now I'm going to just get into this particular folder. I'll say cd, please get inside this Ansible folder. Okay, we are inside this particular folder now, or a directory now. And here I would like to create my first YAML. I'll say here Visual Editor VI. I'll say first playbook dot YAML, right? The sample, same thing which we have done using the ad hoc commands. I would like to write that, or I would like to do the same thing with the help of playbook. Okay, I'm inside this insert mode, and I would like to say here, this is the start of my playbook, this is the end of the playbook. And first I would like to specify the host. Okay, host, we have all. I want to do this activity for all the managed nodes. In our case right now we have two managed nodes, the two target machines on which we want to do these things. Okay, and then I would like to just write here the task I want to carry out, the tasks. Okay, and here I would like to specify the name. Maybe I'll say here ping to all managed nodes. Okay, and then I would like to give it as the module, the ping module, the same thing which we have used in the ad hoc command. And here I would like to say the remote user, using one user called as Ansible user, remote user. I'll say here Ansible. Okay, using the Ansible, I want to ping to all the managed nodes. That's the information, a basic playbook. We shall be writing more playbooks. You'll be more familiar to it. Okay, whatever we had done using the ad hoc command, same thing I'm doing using the playbook. That's all. I would like to just save this file. I have saved this, and now we have to use Ansible -playbook in order to execute this particular playbook, Ansible playbook. And I would like to just keep this, right click and paste it here, and I would like to execute it. You can see it is getting executed. Now as per the playbook, it has to ping to all the managed nodes. You can see we are getting success and success, that is, it is able to ping the managed nodes. I hope you are able to get it. Okay, we can also, before we even execute this, we can check the syntax also. If I have to go down, you can just write this, right click and add the same thing, after which you can say hyphen. I would like to say a syntax and check. Great. And if I have to execute this, if you're not getting any error, that means the syntax of this playbook YAML file is absolutely correct. No issues there. Okay, so Ansible playbook followed by the playbook name. Inside the playbook, whatever activity you write, that will be executed. Right now I'm just trying to ping to all the managed nodes, and because of which we could able to ping here the moment I executed the same activity we have done using the ad hoc command, but now I'm doing using the our first playbook. Moving forward, we shall be writing the more playbook and try to understand it. Now let's write one more playbook which is responsible to create the files in the managed nodes. Using the Ansible, we will be writing a playbook. The task which we are going to define inside this playbook is to create files into the managed node. Going forward, we will write the advanced playbook, but just to start with, I have got connected to my control node where we have installed the Ansible. I would like to make a switch here, sudo. I'll say here su. Please switch to Ansible user, and also please go to the directory, the Ansible directory which we have created. Great. And now here I'm going to create ls-l. We do already have one playbook which we have created. I'll open Visual Editor and say this is my file creation. I'll say here .yaml file. Great. And let me go to the insert mode, and here we may have to write a playbook here. Okay, so let me start this. This is the end of the playbook, and here we may have to define the host, and we also have to define what task we are going to carry out. So let me just first define the host here. I'll say host. Okay, and then I'm going to define here. All right, let me just add this. Yeah, let me just get into this all. Okay, like which are the managed nodes on which you want to create file, we have to define. We had created two groups, right? We had the web servers group, we had the DB servers group, and within this right now we have one machine. We can have 10 machines, 20 machines, 100 machines using one playbook. If you want to create files in 100 machines, you can do that, right? So host all. Right now we have two managed nodes. I want this to be impact in all the managed nodes, and then I'm going to define what are the tasks which we are going to define. Okay, so it is at this level itself, and then we may have to give the name here. All right, so let me just give the name. I will say here, all right, 1 2 3. I'll say here name. I'll say here file creation. Whatever name you want, you can give. Okay, I'll give the name as file creation. Okay, file creation. It could be something else also. And now we have to define the what is the module. Are you going to ping? Are you going to use the shell module? No, this time we are going to go with the file module. Like we had the shell module, like we had the ping module, we have file module. That is, we are going to create the file here. Okay, now we have to define the path. What is the path where you want to create? I'll say here within the home directory of my managed node. There, in all the managed nodes at the time of configuration and installation, we had created one folder, one drive, or you can say one directory called as Ansible. Within this, by the name alien.txt file, please create one alien.txt file. Okay, that's the name of the file which I want to be created. Okay, now apart from that, we may also have to specify the state, that is touch. State is touch, that is touch command in Linux is used to create an empty file. So using the state touch, please create one alien.txt file into my managed nodes. That's the meaning of it. I hope those who are watching this series, they are aware of Linux, because that is one of the most crucial part for any DevOps engineer, right? So using the touch state, I want them to create one alien text file into all my managed nodes. Right now we have two managed nodes. It could be multiple. Great. Now I would like to save this file. Escape mode, and let me save this. I have saved this file, ls-l. You can see here. Now before I execute, I would like to check the syntax of this file, for which I'll say here Ansible Playbook, and I'll say here name of my playbook, the file creation, that's the name of the playbook. I would like to just go ahead and then I will say hyphen syntax check. Okay, I'm just going to check my syntax. You can just see here syntax is fine. There is no problem in the syntax. Now let me just get connected to my managed nodes and check by chance if there is already file. You should not feel like maybe I have already created file there and then trying to execute the playbook. That should not be the case. Okay, I have opened the few more terminals where we can just get connected to our managed nodes. Let me go to my AWS account. If I have to go to my instances here, we have multiple instances. I'll go to my managed node number 1 and get connected here. Okay, let me just go back here and get connected. I'll say right click, please get connected. Okay, now I'll say yes, it is getting connected, guys. All right, and similar to that, I would like to just go back to my instances and I'll go to the manage node number 2, and here also I will just click on connect, copy this, and using the git bash I would like to establish the connection. Okay, just to check whether what we have there. All right, I have just executed this. I will say yes. All right, let me just open this. Let me elaborate. Let me just zoom in, and if I just zoom in, okay, let me clear the screen. I will say here sudo, please make a switch to Ansible user. I have made a switch to the Ansible user. And now within this, I'll go to the folder or drive, or you can say directory, which we have created already. Okay, I have gone there, ls-l. We do not have any file here. Please check here. We do not have any file. I would like to just go back to this machine as well. The manage node number 2, the second machine on which we are trying to configure the things. I would like to clear this, and I'll just say here sudo su Ansible. Please make a switch to this Ansible user. And now I would like to just go to the directory which we have already created there, ls-l. We do not have anything here. I would like to just execute this. I'll say Ansible Playbook file creation. Let me just go and add this. I'm executing this playbook. The moment I execute this, please see here, I'm executing this play all task, gathering the facts which it wanted to do. It is telling OK and OK. Change in both the machines. It is created. Change 1. A new resource is added. Now again I'll go back to my manage node, and now I'll check here ls-l. You can see here a new alien text got created. Again I'll go back to my other file, other manage nodes. I'll say ls-l. You can see file is there. Earlier we did not had. This file we created in our manage nodes using the Ansible. Imagine you have to create a file, an important file in 100 machines. You have to manually get connected to those 100 machines and create option number 1. Option number 2, use the Ansible, a configuration management tool. Using Ansible Playbook, you can create files in 100 machines at a time. Right now, we have 2 managed nodes because to demonstrate both of them, it is able to create it. I hope it is making sense. Now, let me just go back here and I would like to just clear this. And let me just say here vi and okay, ls-l, we do have this file. I'll say here, please open this, the file creation, and let me just go here, right click and paste this. All right, and let me go to the insert, and this time I'll say not in all, only in the web servers group. Web servers group, we had created 2 groups. There can be 2 groups, multiple groups, or direct machines also. Earlier about which we have already discussed group, in the sense if there are machines which are going to get managed by Ansible, we can divide those machines into multiple groups, web servers group, DB groups, based on what is there inside those machines. There are machines which are responsible for hosting the databases, DB group. All the machines which will have Tomcat or the things which is required to deploy our web application, web servers group, right? It's like inside those group, multiple machines are there. That's the meaning. So right now we had created 2 machines, and the 2 machines I have divided into 2 groups. Earlier also we have seen about it. Now I want whatever file I'm going to mention here to be created only in the web server. Now host is not all. My target right now, whatever playbook I'm going to execute, it should not be executed for all the machines I have. It should be executed to the machines which belongs to web server group. Okay, so I'll say here telusko.txt for an instance. I would like to go here and save this. Okay, again I'll say Ansible Playbook, and then I would like to just give this name. Okay, syntax check, if you want you can do it, and it's up to you whether if you want to do the syntax check. And also there is something called as host list, which will give you the target machines. That means on which machines this Ansible, when it gets executed, will have impact on. Okay, so whatever playbook we are executing, that will be impacted on which machines. If you want to know, then before you execute, you can just add this. Let me just hit this button, and do we have that command? I hope we do have this. If not, there is an error here. Maybe, all right, let me just host leave. It is unrecognized arguments. It is not able to give this argument. Maybe let me add one more. Okay, there might be mistake in the argument which I have been running this. Okay, let me just take this and go back here. Okay, let me just add this, paste, and maybe in place of a host list, I would like to give it as a list host. Okay, list host. Okay, when I execute it, you can see this playbook will be executed for the machines which belong to web server group. Only one machine we have, host only one machine. That means whatever file which we are creating using this playbook, that file will be created only into the machines which belong to web server groups, which is just one machine, not both the machines. Okay, now I would like to just execute this particular file. I would like to just go back here. I'll say please execute this, and you can see we are getting this only one. You can see here the impact will be only on one machine. See, you're not getting both the machines. Now if I have to go back to the other machines, and let me just check which is our machine, ls-l, we are getting Telusko. This is the machine which belongs to web server group. If I have go to other machine, and here if I check ls-l, you'll not be able to see that, because the target in the host, in the playbook, I have not given as all. I have given only web server. That means only one machine I want to create the Telusko text file. This is just one example. Now I hope you are able to understand whatever earlier we have discussed about theoretically about the playbooks, the architect. Okay, practically you could able to see. Now going forward, we may have to write more playbooks in order to install the maven, Java, Git, or the other important, which day in and day out as a DevOps engineer you may have to write playbook for. Now let's write one more playbook which is responsible to install the Git client in all the managed nodes. Okay, for which I have got connected to my control node, and here I would like to first make a switch to sudo su, the Ansible user which we had created earlier during the time of configuring, and here I would like to just go to the directory which we had created, which is the Ansible directory. Okay, let me just clear this, and here let me just check. We do already have 2. Let me just go back here, cat and the file creation. We do already have 2 playbooks here. Okay, it will be easy for us to, okay, great. And let me just copy this, and go back and create one more visual editor, and I will say here git install .yaml, and let me go to the insert mode and I would like to, within the visual editor, I would like to just go here. Okay, now this time the host is all. I want to install the git client on all the managed nodes. I would like to specify host is all. And what is the name? Maybe I would like to give it as a git installation. I'll say git installation, or whatever you want you can give. And then the package is not file this time, like we have shell ping. Okay, file. This time it is the yum. For Amazon Linux, yum is the module which is used to install any software. Yum is what I have specified here. And after which I would like to just close the path which is not required. Let me just remove this. I have removed this, and in place of this I would like to add it as a name, right? So name, I would like to say it as git. Git is the one which I want to install, and the state is latest, the version, the latest git I want to install in all the client software. Also, one more point I would like to add: whenever you are writing a playbook which is responsible to install the software such as Maven, Git, right, into my managed node, you should also have an admin privilege. If not, it will not be allowing you to install that. To give the admin privilege, we are going to add one more here, which is become equals to true. It's like this playbook has the admin privilege, using which we can create. This all is required whenever you are installing some softwares into the managed node such as Maven, Java, Git, Python. It is recommended to use become equal to true, which will give the admin privileges for this particular playbook, right? And now I would like to just save this. Let me save this playbook. I have saved this playbook, and after which I would like to just go and check the syntax. I'll say here Ansible Playbook. I would like to say here Ansible Playbook, and the name of this playbook is git install.yaml. And before even I execute this, I would like to just go back here and say hyphen syntax check. Okay, let me see if my syntax is correct. Seems like my syntax is correct. Now I would like to execute this playbook. I would like to just copy this, go here and execute this particular playbook. The moment I hit this, let's see if it is able to install that. And if I have to go here, yes, it is okay. It is installing the task git installation. It is able to do that, right? You can see change one, both the machines it is installed. I would like to now get connected here. Of course, it is telling that disconnected. Again, let me go back to my AWS, and if I have to go to my instances, I have to get connected to my one managed node. All right, let me copy this. This is like I'm just trying to get connected to these machines to check whether really it is installed or not. Okay, all right, I'm trying to get connected. Great. And let me go back to my AWS account. I'll go back to my instances. If I have to go back to my instances, let me go to the second here. Okay, and I would like to just connect and copy this and add into my machine. Okay, I'm just trying to get connected to those managed machines, right? So I got connected. Now if I have to go back to the first machine, let me clear the screen here. And if I have to say, okay, let me just go back sudo su ansible, and I want to get into this Ansible. And now I would like to say git -v, and you're getting the git version. That is, you are able to execute successfully. That's the meaning of it. Okay, I would like to go to the one more machine here, okay, which we got connected. I would like to clear this. Let me zoom a bit. I would like to make a switch to the Ansible user, and there cd to go to the Ansible directory. And if I say git -v, we are able to see the git version. That means using the Ansible playbook, we just verified here that really it is happening. As per this, it has created. For the verification, I also got connected to manage node and just check that if really it has installed, just to prove you that this playbook is working fine. So this was the playbook in order to install the git into all the managed nodes. Again, we will write one more playbook before we proceed, which will be responsible to install Maven or Java. Now let's write one more playbook which is responsible to install Java and Maven. If you want, you can install Java separately, but if you install Maven, automatically Java also will be installed. So let me just go here. I would just get connected here. I will say cat and I want it to open this particular, I'll say right click where we already have a playbook. Okay, we need not to hard code again because we have already spent time on this. I would like to just go back and create maybe maven java dot yaml file. Okay, I would like to just create this. Let me go to the insert mode, and I would like to just paste what we have here, right? So host all become true. Maybe I want to install Java only into the web servers. Okay, web servers, or if you want, you can install to all the machines, a specific machine or all the machines you can specify here. Become true, admin privileges, and name, maybe I'll say here maven java installation, and here I would like to give it as maven, which is the latest. That's all you may have to. Yum package in Linux, yum for Amazon Linux we use in order to install any of the softwares. For Ubuntu machines we use apt. For the Linux, Amazon Linux distribution, we use yum. I'm trying to say, using the yum module, please install maven's latest version in all my managed nodes. I have also given you admin privilege. That's the meaning of it. Okay, I would like to go here and save this particular file, and now I would like to say here Ansible Playbook, and I would like to just give this name here maven. Okay, let me just go back, copy this and add this. Okay, and now after which I would like to say here syntax check before I execute. Syntax check. All right, the spelling syntax check. All right, and I'm checking the syntax looks good, and now I would like to execute my Ansible playbook, right? So let me just execute this playbook here, and the moment if I execute play all the machines, gathering the facts, and it is able to install successfully is what the message is. Okay, you'll be getting the details very shortly here. The actual task details, maven java installation details, it is telling change 1. That means it could able to install java and maven into both the machines. Now I would like to just connect it to those machines again. I would like to just go back and establish the connection to manage node number 2. Okay, and let me just go and establish the connection here. Okay, all the machines it will be installed. I would like to just check here whether it is installed or not. Let me just clear here, and if I have to go sudo su ansible, and let me just get into this folder, and I will say I would like to just check here maven hyphen version, and this command is not found. So let me just add here, instead of maven I would like to just say mvn hyphen version or hyphen v. Both of them would work. See, you are getting this version. And also I'll say here java hyphen version, and you can see we are able to get the java's version also. Both of the maven and java is able to install. I'm just checking in one of the managed nodes. Even if you get connected to other managed nodes and check there also, you'll be able to find that maven in java is installed. So this is the playbook in order to install java, maven, get to create the files. By this time I hope you understood the entire architecture of Ansible, what is playbook in general. If you have been watching this series from the beginning, you could able to relate everything, how to write a playbook, what exactly is the playbook, inventory, host file, Ansible, which is a control nodes, manage nodes, also how to write a playbook, the YAML syntax. We did write the playbook just to ping. We did write the playbook to create a file. We did write a playbook to install the Git. We did write a playbooks to install maven and java. Now let's proceed ahead and write one more playbook which can host a static website into web server group. We had created two groups. One is the DB server, one is the web server, which is in the manage nodes. And now I have to write a playbook which can host a static website into the web server group. Okay. Before I proceed, further way, for writing the playbook, already we had written some playbooks. Just to make it more fast, I would like to take the syntax of existing playbook. I'll say here, maybe I'll say cat space. Maybe I would like to just go back, git install dot yaml. Let me get this syntax of this, and we do have it. I would like to just copy this, right? It is copied. Now let me create a new playbook. I would like to say here, website hosting playbook. That's the one, playbook dot yaml. Okay, I could able to create one playbook here. This is our control node. We have got connected to the control node, and here we are writing a playbook which can host a static website into one of the managed nodes. In the web server, we have one managed nodes. I mean the nodes which is going to get managed by control node, right? So there is where we have to write. Let me just right click here and paste it. We do have this, and here it says host all. I now want to execute this playbook for all the servers, all the managed nodes. Let me get into the insert mode, and I would like to specify web server. The host is web servers here, not everywhere. Become true just to get the admin privileges, and then we have task. This is the task, and here in order to host a static website, many servers are there. One of these we have to use here is HTTPD. Okay, HTTPD, right? Where like we have a Tomcat server, like we have other servers, HTTPD. If you have learned Linux or shell scripting, there also you might have used this to host a static server. Okay, PD. I'll say here maybe name it is. Okay, server installation. That's the first task we may have to execute. Okay, I have to specify using the yum package only. I have to install this, and let me specify the name here, and the name here is HTTPD. I want to install this. Let it be the latest one. Not just installing the HTTPD, we may have to write the entire playbook which can also host or which can also deploy a static website. So for this HTTPD, one of the package manager which is required in order to host that, that we are going to install here. And apart from this, I would like to add a few more tasks here. Let me just specify the next task. I would like to give it as a name. I will say here name equals to, I would like to specify what is the next task we have in front of us. To copy, in my control node, I'll create one index.html file where I will write a basic code to host. You can consider this as a basic static website. Okay, copying this index.html file from my control node into the managed nodes, into the web server group. That is what I may have to do here. I will just give the name into the control node, or just copy the index.html file. And how do we copy? I would like to use one package here called as copy, and then I'll specify the source. What is my source and what is my destination? Both I may have to specify. This is my destination, this is my source. From the source, it is just index.html. Directly in the root drive only, I'll create one index.html file. And what is the destination? On the destination, where I want to store this. The moment you install this package manager, I mean HTTPD, there will be some folders, and inside one specific directory, inside a specific part, I just have to copy this static website, this file from my control node into my manage node. I have to specify onto my web server group where I want to add this particular index.html file. And the destination here is within the var directory, within one directory called as www, and within that html, and inside this I would like to add this index.html. On anywhere where you have installed the HTTPD, there will be many directories, and within this directory, within this path, if you add any of the file, that will be deployed using the HTTPD. Okay, this can be done in the normal Linux machine. This could also be done using the EC2 user while launching the Linux machine. Just to give you an idea. Okay, for this also we can write a playbook using the Ansible playbook. Same we are trying to achieve here. Okay, and now the next task is to start this HTTPD, to start this package, to start this server is what we have to do here. I would like to just go back and say name, and let me specify the name. I'll say here HTTPD start, or whatever you want you can give, HTTP server start. Okay, or maybe I'll give the name as start HTTPD server. Okay, the server which is required, I want to start, for which I would like to give it as service package. So okay, module, the module is service. Okay, and then I would just like to add here the name. What is the name? It is HTTPD. And then I would like to specify the state. State is started. Okay, now it is done. The playbook is ready. Now 3 tasks we are carrying out in this playbook. Number 1, we are installing the HTTPD. Number 2, into that HTTP server there will be one path in my manage node, in my server group. In that path, I would like to add my static website, that is the index.html file, and then I'm going to start this particular server. Okay, the playbook is ready. Let me just save this playbook. I have saved this playbook. Okay, now let's execute this playbook here, and the command is Ansible Playbook, and I may have to specify the name of the playbook, okay, which is the website hosting dot yaml. And before even I go, I would like to just check the syntax. You know very well, we can add here syntax. I will say here check. There is no issue in this, no syntax. And if you want, you can check the host also, host instance where this particular playbook will be executed, which are the managed nodes, right? So I'd like to specify here the list host. Okay, so let me say here list. I'll say hosts. Okay, and the moment I execute this, you can see into the web servers group, we have only one machine in the web servers group. There could be 100 machines, there could be 200 machines. How much our machines we have within the web servers group? Now, before even I execute, I have not even created the index.html in my root of control node, from where it has to copy from my control into the web servers group, right? For which, let me create one. I'll say here index.html. I'm creating one. And let me go to the insert mode, and I will add some basic static website. Maybe I'll say here Telusko DevOps Learning. Okay, that's the name I've given. All right, and let me just finish this. If you want, you can add a more or how much ever you want. It's up to you. I have just given this, and let me just save this file. And we do have this also. Now finally, let's execute this playbook and see if we could able to do all three tasks in one playbook. Okay, which is required. All right. Let me just copy this once again. I'll just go back here, right click and paste. And I would like to just hit this enter key, play task gathering the facts. It will take 1 minute of time or maybe less than, and it should be doing this task. It is telling okay, it could able to do that. Now HTTP server installation change. That means that task is successful. Then copying that index file change, and then task, right? So we do have this option here. Now, if I have to go back, I just have to, check which server it is. What is the name of the server? On the web server, we have this is the name of the machine. I'll just use the public IP and try to access of this machine. If I have to go back to my AWS account, let me just go back to AWS account. If I just go to my instances here, the one which is running currently, and we have two managed nodes. I just have to get the address of which managed nodes match this address. Okay, so let me just go back to here, and I'll just clarify. Okay, 9250. I guess it is the same. Okay, 9250. And I would like to take the public IP of this, and we'll just try to access this. Okay, let me go back to the browser here, and I would like to just paste it. Okay, I would like to just hit this and see if you could able to access that web application. See, we could able to access. Now using the public IP, we could able to access this particular application. I hope you are able to see. We could able to host a static website into the managed node using the control node, using the Ansible. That was the playbook about it. I hope you now got the fundamentals of writing the playbook and how that can be executed. Whatever we have seen earlier theoretically, you could able to understand. Now let's understand the concept of variables in Ansible. The concept of variables remains same irrespective of the tool or irrespective of the programming language. It is to store the data. Coming to the Ansible, we have different types of variables here. We have the host variable, we have the group variable, we have the playbook variable, we have the runtime variable. What exactly it is? Let's demonstrate a runtime and the playbook variable. You will have an idea about it. Okay, for which I would like to create a new playbook. Before I create, I would like to use the concept of variables in the existing playbook, the playbook which we have used in order to host a static website. I would like to take the content of same playbook here. Let me just take it again and right click, paste it, and let me just get the content of it. Okay, and now I would like to just hover over it just to copy this entire playbook. And now I would like to create a new playbook here. Okay, I'll say here let's go with the maybe variables vars dot yaml file. That's the name I've given for my playbook. Let me get into the insert mode. And here I would like to just add the same content. Okay, now here instead of a name, I would like to do one thing. Wherever we have the HTTPD, I would like to just go back here and use the concept of variables. Okay, I'll not be defining the name here. I'll not be giving the name HTTPD. Two places I have used the name of the server which we usually use in order to host a static website. Instead of this, I will define the variable. Okay, you can just define the variable, and this style I would like to just go back and say within this 2 times curly brackets, and you can give the name of the variable. Okay, here in this case I'll give the name of the variable as the package variable. Okay, that's the name I would like to give, package name, which is HTTPD. I've not given HTTPD directly. At the runtime, when I execute this playbook, at that time I would like to pass it. That's the meaning of a runtime variable. I would like to just copy this once again, the entire name I have copied, and I'll just get back here. Even in the second place where I'm using this package name, I'll say right click and add this file. Now, instead of me using this HTTPD, I have just defined it as a package name, right? So I would like to just go back here, and I would like to just save this. And now when we execute this playbook at the runtime, I have to pass this data to that variable. Okay, for which I will say here Ansible Playbook, and I would like to define the name of the playbook here. Let me just what is the name, vars.yaml. Okay, right click and let me add the same name, and after the name of the playbook I just have to add hyphen extra vars. Okay, during the runtime, that means when I'm executing the playbook, during that time, execution time, runtime, okay, extra, I'll say here hyphen variables, and whatever the variable name we have used inside the playbook. Inside the playbook, we have used the variable name as package name. Whatever name you have given there, same name you have to give here, and you have to give the actual data which you would like to pass, okay, which is HTTPD. Right, this is the concept of runtime variable. That means we will define a variable inside Ansible Playbook, and at the runtime, when we are running the playbook, when we are executing the playbook, during that time I just have to add the, or you can say pass the value. You can pass that in the runtime. Okay, let me just hit the enter key here, and you'll be able to see the playbook could be executed. Right, so it is taking some time. It says okay, great, and it has been executed in this particular host. We have only web servers. I think that's the host we have given. So let me open the browser where we have our AWS account. I would like to just go back there, instances, and let me go to one of the managed nodes. Okay, it is loading. I'll go back to my managed nodes. All right, I hope, yeah, this is the one. I'll copy the web. I'll go back to my browser. At the top, I'll paste a new. Okay, I'll just paste this and hit this enter. See, you will be able to get that. The same thing, right? You can see Telusko DevOps running. It is able to host it. But there inside the playbook, we have not written the value directly. The package name, we had created one variable. At the runtime, when we were executing the Ansible playbook, that time we had passed the variable. This is about the runtime variable. Likewise, we have different types of variable. We do also have a concept of playbook variable. Playbook variable means within the playbook itself, you are defining that. Okay, that's the meaning of it. For instance, I'll take the same here. All right, right click, and I would like to just go back here. And within this, let me just hit the insert. Okay, I'll just go to the insert mode, and here is where we have to define. These variables are there, but I'll not be passing during the runtime. Here itself, I'll be defining it. And here, after the inside the playbook, after the become, here is where we have to define. I'll just say vars, and then what is the name of the variable? This is the name we are using, right? So I would like to give the same name. I will say here package name. Whatever variable we have used, we have declared there. That is what I'm initializing here. Package, and it is HTTPD. Okay, that's the value I wanted to pass here, but instead of me passing the value directly, this time I'm using the playbook variable concept. That means inside the playbook itself, I'm declaring it, and here I'm just initializing that value. I need not to now pass the value during the runtime. When we execute the playbook, right, that time I need not to pass. Here itself I'm just passing this value. So this is the playbook variable. I'll just use the variables any number of times. Only once I have written here, the same value you can use for n number of time. You need not to pass this again and again. This is the concept of playbook variable, and we have seen the runtime variable. Let me just save this here. I'll just click on escape and W key. I have saved here and I will just rerun this. And while running, I need not to pass that at the runtime because inside the playbook only I have defined this. Let me take this and I need not to use this extra vars package name. I'll say right click and add this. All right. And I'm just executing and you'll be able to see the playbook will be successfully executed. Okay. Of course, it is successfully launched, right? And I'll go back to my machine again. All right, same public IP because on the web server group we have only one machine, so it is the same machine I would like to take. And again I will just put it here and let me execute and you'll be able to see this output. Fine, it will take some time but it will execute, right? So this is the concept of a variable. I hope you could able to understand. We do have the host variables also. Okay, we do have a group variable. So similarly at the group level we define it. Fine. So now I hope you got a better idea on the concept of writing the playbook. Now let's understand how do we secure our Ansible playbooks. Whenever we write the playbooks, by default it is not encrypted, it is not secure. Anyone can see, anyone can edit, right? So we do have one playbook here, and if you want to see the content of playbook with the simple cat command, you can just get to know what is there inside this. Not just that, even if you want, you can open this and you can make the changes. If you just run the visual editor, you can open this in the editor, which is the visual editor. Okay, I would like to copy this and you can see here, I can open this and I can make the changes. I can get into the insert mode and make whatever changes, right? It is not secure, it is not encrypted. Do we have an option wherein we can secure our playbook once we have written that? The answer is yes. That's where Ansible Vault command comes into picture, or you can say Ansible Vault's concept comes into picture, for which we just have to run one command, Ansible -vault, and then you have to specify the name of the playbook. Whatever is the file name of your playbook, you just have to use that, right? And before that, what you want to do with this playbook, I would like to encrypt this. I'll say here encrypt this particular playbook. Okay, and now if I have to execute this, it is asking me to give the vault password. I would like to give the password. You can give any password of your own choice. And it is asking me to confirm the password. I would like to confirm the password. Now again, if I run the same cat command, you can observe here, I would like to just run the same command which we have used. You'll not be able to see anything here. It is now secure, it is now encrypted, right? Now again, if you want to maybe view this, right, then again you have to run Ansible Vault. Same command you have to run, Ansible Vault. Okay, and then I would like to just specify here view. And you have to specify the name of your playbook. Whatever is the name you have given for your playbook, same you have to specify here. I would like to just specify the same here. And now it is asking me to give the vault password. Only if I enter the vault password, I'll be able to see the content here. Directly, I cannot see here. Cat command will not work. You can see it is in the encrypted format, but I want to see the content. I am a genuine person. I am the one who have created this Ansible playbook and I want to see the content. I want to verify. Ansible Vault view, and then you have to specify the playbook name. It is asking me to give the password, the same password which you had set at the time of encryption. I would like to specify the same password here. Now you will be in a position to see this file. Okay, I hope you could able to understand this. Now I want to decrypt this, for which similarly you have to mention Ansible Vault, the same command which you have used. In place of encrypt, you have to specify decrypt. Again, I want to get back to the normal position. I would like to just take this and specify. Of course, it will ask you the password in order to decrypt. I would like to specify the password which I had given. Now decryption is successful. After decryption, it is in the normal form. Now without any worry, you can see the content. Okay, it is not in the encrypted form. It is not secure right now. Okay, I would like to just specify this. You can see you'll be in a position to see this. But after encryption, you will not be able to see. Not just that, I would like to take this. Okay, and let me just reuse. In place of decryption, I want to again one more time encrypt this. Okay, let me specify that I want to encrypt this, right? And of course, it will ask me to set the password. I would like to give the password of my own choice. Let me specify once again. Now again, it is in the encrypted form. You cannot see it is secure. Okay, let me just check what is there inside this. You will be in a position to see that it is in the encryption format. Not just that, I would like to maybe edit this. I want to open this file and make some changes. Now it is in the encrypted format. I'll say right click, and if I try to open, see here, it is in this format. you'll not be able to do something with this. Even you cannot open in the visual editor, you cannot do something, right? If you want to do, then you have to decrypt and open in the visual editor. Or we do have an option available here. What is that option if you ask me? I'll see here, Ansible Vault. And then you have to specify edit here, followed by the name of your playbook file. Whatever is the name you have given, I have given Ansible Vault.yaml file, and I would like to specify. When we may have to use Ansible Vault edit, whenever you want to edit your playbook which is already secure, which is already encrypted. We have two options here. You can decrypt, open in the visual editor and make the changes. If not, being secured, being in the encrypted format also, if you want to see, then view. If you want to edit, then you have to go with the edit command. Let me just open this. It is asking me to give the password. I would like to specify the password. Now it is in the original form. If you want, you can make the changes here. I hope you are able to understand this, right? Now I would like to, of course, decrypt this. Okay, I want to get back to the normal form. So for which, in place of encrypt, you may have to specify decrypt here. Okay, I would like to just get back here and say decrypt. Fine. And if I execute this, I want to decrypt. I want it to be back in the normal form. Okay, then it is asking me to enter the password because it is secured. It is successfully decrypted. I hope now you could able to understand, using the Ansible Vault concept, how can we secure our playbooks, how can we achieve encryption and decryption with Ansible playbooks. Now let's understand about Ansible Tags concept. Okay, you can see I have created one playbook here. I would like to just show you the content of playbook. Generally, in one playbook we can have multiple tasks, and that is what we have been running, right? And if you open this playbook, and you can see we have three tasks here. Number one, to install the HTTPD server. Number two, to copy the index.html file into the server, and then we have to start the server. Basically, with this playbook, we are just trying to host a static website here. Okay, we have three tasks here, and if you execute this particular playbook, automatically all the three tasks will be executed in sequential order, one by one. There is no control here. All of them will executed in the sequential order, and all three will be executed. Can we control this? With the help of tags, you can skip certain tasks within a playbook. You can execute a specific task of a playbook also. Generally, if you run the playbook, then all the tasks will be executed. But with the help of tags, if we map a task to a tag name, with the help of this tag name, then we can control. We can skip certain tasks when we executing a playbook, or we can execute a specific task of a playbook also. Maybe there are three tasks here, and I know one. The moment I run this playbook, I know want all the three tasks to be executed. I want a specific task only to be executed. Then we can go with the tags name, for which I have to map our task with the tag name. I would like to open this Ansible tag file, okay, with the visual editor. Let me just open this and let me get into the insert mode, and we have to specify here at last. Okay, I would like to just get back here, and here at this level, at the level of name, we may have to specify tags. Let me just write down here space, and I would like to give the name of this. Maybe this is install. That's the name I have given. Okay, and similar to this, I would like to just get back here, and here also I would like to specify the tag. Okay, let me get up here and tags. All right. And what is the name of the task? This is copy. Okay, whatever name you want, you can give. This is copy. And again, I would like to just see here, whatever name, server start or anything you can give at the level of this. Okay, ident spacing is very, very important for the YAML. You must be knowing it. Okay, and I would like to just specify here maybe server start. Okay, or maybe I would like to give the name as a start. Anything is fine, right? And let me save this. After saving, I would like to just specify Ansible Playbook, Ansible Vault.yaml. That is a general command we use in order to run the Ansible Playbook. Now I want to first of all list all the tags we have. Okay, list hyphen tags, and if I run this, and that error we are getting because we were running a wrong playbook. So I would like to just take this Ansible Playbook. Okay, and then actual playbook which we have written is different, which is Ansible Tags. Okay, I was executing a wrong playbook where we don't have any tags. Okay, and I would like to just specify hyphen list hyphen tags, and now you'll be in a position to see we have a tag here, copy, install, and clear. Okay, let me just clear my screen. ls hyphen l, we do have this. Now I would like to just execute Ansible Playbook, and I would like to just specify here okay, name of my playbook. If I just specify only name of the playbook, then all the tasks of this playbook will be executed. I want to execute a specific task, for which you can specify hyphen tags and then name of the tag. We have three tags here: install, copy, and start. I would like to execute the install only. Okay, install. And if I have to execute this, you'll be able to see there are three tasks in the playbook. Only one task will be executed. It is gathering the facts. Okay, and also to start the server, these tasks are not getting executed. Only one is getting executed. Now I want to execute one more tag. I would like to specify, maybe this time I want to install. Okay, as well as I want to execute one more task, which is copy. Let me just specify, this time two tasks out of three I want to execute, and you can see two tasks will be executed. Okay, we got this error because there was no HTML file. For the second task to copy index.html into the server, HTML file was only not there. I had created a basic HTML file, and once again, if you execute, out of three tasks, I have asked two tasks to execute. Ansible Playbook, execute this playbook. In that, I have mapped all the tasks to the tag name. How many tags I want to execute? Only two tags, install and copy. It is installing and also it is copying, right? And now if you want to skip a certain task, what do we have to do? Maybe out of three, I would like to just copy this. I want to skip a task, right? This time I don't want to execute. I would like to skip the task. For which I would like to say the Ansible playbook, the name of the playbook, hyphen skip hyphen tag. That's the name I have to specify, and which is the task I want to skip because it is already installed. I don't want to install once again, so I want this to be skipped, right? So the moment I execute this, you can see the tasks are getting executed, but however, it is recommended to go with the plural here. We should specify the skip tags, not just tag. Okay, I would like to re-execute this skip tags, right? And now I would like to again run this. Except the install, I want the other two tasks to be executed, copying the HTML file into my server and then starting the server. You can see these two tasks will be executed. The first task you'll not be able to see here. Only two tasks are here. Since we have already executed, we are getting in the green because there are no changes there. However, you can see only two tasks. But if you run this Ansible playbook and specify the playbook name, as we have seen earlier also, it will execute all the tasks. Install HTTP package, copy index.html file, and starting the server. There are three tasks inside this playbook. So what we have to do is, whenever there are multiple tasks in one playbook, we can tag the task with the tag name. That will help us to skip certain tasks, or maybe you want to choose out of so many tasks in a playbook, you want to execute certain task, you want to skip certain tasks. All this can be controlled with the help of tags name by giving the tag name to the task which we have inside the playbook.